Preston Ford. The car number 29 on that next row, it's Hank Hartledge from Chivley, Kentucky. And out of New Albany, it's car number 15, Todd Robinson. From Pleasure Ridge Park, Kentucky, it's Chuck Winters in car number 8. And out of Okolona, car number 90, Rick Irwin. On back in the field from Chivley, Kentucky, it's car number 21, Kevin Wheat. And alongside of him from Wilder Park, car number 66, Junior Blankenship. From Clarksville, Indiana, car number 69, Bill Kimmel Jr. And from Chivley, car number 11, Joe Williamson. On back in the field, car number 74, it's Brian Baum. And on the outside, Jeffersonville, Indiana's own Frank Kimmel, the 1990 late model champ and current Rookie of the Year contender on the ARCA circuit. On back, it'll be car number 34, Carl Wheeler from Middletown. And alongside from LaGrange, car number 83, David Cornettet. From Louisville, Kentucky, Keith Storms in car number 14. And the number 68 of Steve Brown. And from Lexington, Kentucky, car number 88, Jeff Johnson. And on the outside, John Garrett out of Southern Indiana. The field moves down into turns 3 and 4, and the green flag is out, and we're racing. Down into turns 3 and 4, it's Keith Gardner with the early advantage. Hikes Point, Kentucky's own Ron Phillips comes up into second as the number 5 of Scott Walters has left the battle with the number 31 of Wayne Edwards for third. Walters gets the jump out of turn number 2 and nails down the third place spot, moving down into turns 3 and 4. Larry Metters up along the outside of Steve Webb. Some contact there in the fourth turn, but everyone straightens out, and they race back into turns 1 and 2. Side by side now for fourth, it's the 31 of Wayne Edwards and the number 05 of Larry Metters as they scoot down into turns 3 and 4. Jeffersonville, Indiana, Steve Webb will watch that battle in front of him as they complete lap number 3. Back into turns 1 and 2, Hank Hartledge now leads up a second echelon of cars, followed by Chuck Winters, the number 12 of Preston Ford, Curtis Teague, and Todd Robinson, Rick Irwin, and Junior Blankenship. The field completes lap number 4, and it's the number 98 of Keith Gardner out front looking for his fourth feature win of the 1992 racing season. The number 39 of Ron Phillips now runs at second, Scott Walters at third. Steve Webb gets together with Wayne Edwards up in turn number 4, turning around Edwards' machine, and they both drop to the tail of the field. They complete lap number 5 right now with Wayne Edwards in the 31 yet to get turned around. He's right down in the racing group. Gardner looks down on the low side, makes the pass on him, and Edwards is now 1 lap down to the field. 6 laps now completed, and it's Gardner out front in the Barley Ford Bojangles KC Food Mart's 92 Ford. At second, it's car number 39, the Portland Recycling Racing Chevrolet Lumina of Ron Phillips. The Roadrunner Video Club's Pontiac, car number 5 of Scott Walters goes third, followed by the number 05, the Metal Center Recycling Outer Limits, and Ohio Valley Tire Company Z28 of Larry Metters. Chuck Winters now hits the leaderboard at number 5. Car number 8, sponsored by Gregg and Landreth Cars at 1992 Buick Regal across the start-finish line, and he has the number 12 of Preston Ford on his back bumper now as they exit turn number 2. Lap number 9 completed this time around of a 40-lap contest, and it's Keith Gardner by about 8 car lengths into turns 1 and 2. Scott Walters now begins reeling in Ron Phillips for second place. Trouble out of turn number 4. It was Frank Kimmel and David Cornettet. Kimmel's machine sits on the inside portion of the Speedway on the front straightaway. He gets the Dave Colmer prepared machine started back up and pulls down to the infield. 10 laps now completed. Watch this battle for second. It's Scott Walters who looks to the outside of Ron Phillips up in turn 4. Back into turns 1 and 2, and again Walters brings that Roadrunner Video Club's Pontiac to the outside of Ron Phillips. Almost side by side now up in turn number 4. Larry Metters in the number 05 right there as well. So 3rd, 4th, and 5th place race into turns 1 and 2. Steve Webb in car number 1 now has gone 1 lap down to our race leader as well. And Walters looking for the outside on Ron Phillips out of turn number 4. They're still side by side here on the front straightaway. The battle for second resumes over in turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. And Ron Phillips doing very well to hold on to that inside path as Walters has the outside. Larry Metters doesn't know who to follow on this front straightaway as we now click off lap number 14. Into turns 1 and 2, and John Garrett now getting overlapped by the 2 second place battlers as they move down into turns 3 and 4. But great racing side by side out of turn number 4. Ron Phillips on the inside, Scott Walters on the outside. Back into turns 1 and 2. Larry Metters has made his mind up. He's going to go with Walters on the outside. down into turns 3 and 4. The whole while Keith Gardner is getting away. Walters glides up the banking and drops in behind Phillips and Metters up in the third and fourth turn area. So Walters had a chance to take over second. Now he's back at fourth place and again goes to work on Ron Phillips. Larry Metters moves into second place at lap number 17. Out front, it's Keith Gardner in car number 98, the Barley Ford Bojangles and KC Food Marts Racing Ford, prepared by Kevin Gardner out of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. Taking a look now on the inside of Keith Storms into turns 1 and 2. Larry Metters is currently in second, driving the Metal Center Ohio Valley Tire Company and Outer Limits Racing Chevrolet. At third, it's the Portland Recycling Lumina, car number 39 of Ron Phillips, followed by the Roadrunner Video Club's Pontiac, car number 5 of Scott Walters. Number 8, Chuck Winters currently goes at 5th place for Gregg and Landreth Cars, while it's the number 12 of Preston Ford in the Carnival Shoes and Fashion St. Matthews Import Body Shop Racing Lumina. And then on back we find the number 15 now, Todd Robinson, exiting turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. 20 laps completed, 20 to go. And it's still Keith Gardner, your race leader. Into turns 1 and 2, Larry Metters in the number 05 now at second place, and there's no lap cars in between them. So Larry Metters will begin chasing down our race leader, Keith Gardner. Good race now for Ford, and it's the number 5 of Scott Walters and the number 8 of Chuck Winters, as it looks like the black flag is displayed for the number 12 of Preston Ford. Preston Ford having a problem with his machine, and he pulls down to the infield. The yellow flag is out after 23 laps of competition. Keith Gardner and Larry Metters pacing themselves out of turn number 4, and the green flag is out. Larry Metters jumps out front into turns 1 and 2 and is able to turn the corner on Gardner. He'll nail down the number 1 spot on the back straightaway. It's Gardner who now runs at second. It's Metters, though, who glides up the banking down in turns 3 and 4, and they'll come 3 abreast down the front straightaway. Okay, it's Gardner to the inside of Metters as they race into turns 1 and 2, but Metters takes the lead right back away on the back straightaway. Into turns 3 and 4, it's Gardner now at second. Walters goes third, Phillips to fourth, and at fifth, it's Chuck Winters. They collect lap number 25 and move back into turns 1 and 2. Chuck Winters now tries the high side of Ron Phillips, exiting turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. As they move down into turns 3 and 4, the battle's in fourth place right now as they move out of turn number 4. Down the front straightaway and off into turns 1 and 2. And Winters takes over fourth place on the backstretch. Into turns 3 and 4, your race leader Larry Metters in the number 05. Out front now at the 27 lap mark and 13 to go. It's Keith Gardner in the number 98 who stays right with him though as they move down the backstretch and down into turns 3 and 4. Scott Walters in the number 5 now at third place. Chuck Winters about 2.5 car lengths back at fourth. Ron Phillips in the number 39. And then it's Joe Williamson in car number 11 along with Bill Kimmel Jr. and Rick Irwin racing out of the second turn and down the backstretch. Todd Robinson in the number 15 and right there as well, and Junior Blankenship in car number 66. Two major battles on the racetrack right now, and it's for first and second, and then a second battle between third, fourth, and fifth as they exit turn number 4. And down the front straightaway. 30 laps completed now and 10 to go. And it's Larry Metters in car number 05, the Metal Center Recycling, Ohio Valley Tire Company, and Outer Limits Racing Z28. At second, Keith Gardner in the Barley Ford Bojangles and KC Food Marts 1992 Ford Thunderbird right on his back bumper as they exit turn number 2. Down into turns 3 and 4. Coming around, complete lap number 32. Scott Walters now at third place. Chuck Winters right there with him as they move back into turns 1 and 2. And Ron Phillips in the number 39. They continue to circle this Louisville Motor Speedway, and Larry Metters collects lap number 33, looking for his 10th feature win of the 1992 racing season. The number 98 of Keith Gardner continues to run at second, falling back about a half a car length. Gardner now lifts to the inside as they exit turn number 4. Walters leads the second pack of cars across the start-finish line after 34 laps of competition. Ron Phillips now tried to take away the number 4 position from Chuck Winders that time, coming out of turn number 2, but he falls back in line as well. By my reckoning right now, we have the number 69 of Bill Kimmel Jr. currently in the number 6 spot, followed by perhaps David Cornettet in car number 83 and Joe Williamson in car number 11. Todd Robinson and Rick Irwin have a side-by-side battle going on at the end of the back straightaway. We have less than 4 laps to go, and it's Larry Metters in command of this event as they move in on some lap traffic down into turns 3 and 4 to the inside of Wayne Edwards, tonight's fastest qualifier now, at least 2 laps down to our race leaders as they move out of the second turn and down the back straightaway. Big bunch of traffic in front of our race leaders now, moving into turns 3 and 4, and 2 laps to go this time around. Keith Gardner will try to use that lap traffic to get around Larry Metters. The time is running out as they move into turns 3 and 4. Metters now to the inside of Jeff Johnson out of Lexington, Kentucky, as the white flag comes out. Less than 1 lap to go. Larry Metters now shoots to the inside of Johnson, moving into turns 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. Carl Wheeler got a little sideways on the back stretch that time, moving down into turns 3 and 4. And it's Larry Metters out of turn number 4 who collects his 10th feature win of the 1992 racing season. Across the line at second, it was the number 98 of Keith Gardner, followed by the number 5 of Scott Walters, Chuck Winders, and the number 39 of Ron Phillips.